Hey, my name's Christian and we're here at CrossFit Athletic Brookvale. Dave Castro has just released 16.2, which is a nice little combination of toes to bar, double unders, and an ascending bar in clean. So the bar's going to go up and low, which is a great workout. We're going to have a little look at how we would recommend how you should break it down. I know the guys did a little bit of post interview on how they did it, but it's a really good workout. So just coming a little bit closer, we're just going to. For those that watched last week's video, I just want you to go through the mobility that we did again. So in terms of the joints that we want to target, we're going to think about thoracic, hip and ankle. Let's get some good mobility through those particular junctions. And then moving into a little bit of activation as well. So activation of the glutes. We spoke last week about banded glute bridges and things like that. Just have the bands around your knees. And then also a bit of crossover symmetry. I'll be going through that crossover symmetry activation protocol as well. In terms of where you're going to hit, I guess the people doing it, you should have a pretty good idea as to what barbell you're going to make. My advice warming up would be warming up to that particular load, maybe even just a little bit more, just to sort of get that nervous system slightly heightened. But you should have a goal in terms of which particular bar you're going to get to, and that's the one we're going to shoot for. In part of your warm-up one, you think about trying to get that heart rate up a little bit, get a little bit sweaty. It doesn't necessarily mean lots of cleans, but you might get on the air line and you might do a little bit of interval work, like 10 seconds hard, 50 seconds easy. Probably stay out of that lactic threshold, keep it aerobic, and just get a little bit sweaty and get that heart rate up. In terms of strategy for the workout, let's talk about sort of how we would, or equipment we're going to use. Things to think about. You definitely want to have your friends to load the bar. It's just one less thing for you to worry about when you're doing the workout. Lifting shoes, I would highly recommend using lifting shoes. I mean, if you're fine cleaning and you've got good dorsiflexion, then go for it. But I think it's just going to give that little extra bit of stability, especially when you get tired coming out of the bottom of that front squat. Belts, great idea to use belts, especially when the barbell gets a little bit heavier. I imagine your spinal erectors are going to get pretty cooked as well from that flexion extension through the toes to bar, and then you're into the clean. So be ready for your lower back to get fired up. But the belt's certainly going to help take a little bit of pressure off your lower back. I'll probably advise taking that off in your toes to bar. Some people can do it relatively loose, with the belt relatively loose, but it's a personal preference. So I'll probably just reload with that belt when you get to the barbell. Toes to bar is a lot of time spent on the toes to bar. A few little tips I'll probably look at as it gets, for your first couple of sets. I'll probably be looking at, for the people that are really good at toes to bar, I'd say probably go after it with your unbroken set. But I wouldn't be afraid to hit a double, like break it down into two. For the people that are going to struggle in toes to bar, certainly an idea to think about maybe mixing your grip, because your forearms are going to get pretty cooked. And when your forearms get cooked, that bar's just going to feel that little bit heavier. Just be smart about how you hit that. As those toes to bars start to break down, guys do fast singles. I saw last week a lot of people wanted to do, like, for some of our guys, big chunks of chest to bars, and they wait 30 seconds and then do 3. You're better off just, jump up, hit your toes to the bar, drop off, turn around, go again, turn around, go again. And then obviously use a bit of hand protection for your hands, so jaw grips or something like that. So we're just a little bit of a breakdown for how you would hit it in terms of pacing and strategy. It's a pretty simple strategy. Again, it depends on which bar or which sort of level you want to get to. But we've based these times off potentially hitting the 275 bar and getting into that round. So that'd be well into your 12, pushing up to your 16 minutes. And that was the 175 pound bar for the girls. So look, from what we've seen, if you can, this has been pretty conservative. You can get your toes to bar double unders done under 150. That's not moving that fast. That was with 3 sets of toes to bar. I think it was like a 10-8-7 or something like that. And then hitting your dubs. And then moving to the 135 bar and hitting one clean every 5 seconds. That should get you to finish that into the second round at about 305. Okay, allowing for a little bit of a 10-second transition to get to your toes to bar. Move back in, and we're going to aim for that 150 again to get your toes to bar and your double unders. So again, that's just being conservative. People that are good at that, I'd suggest you go a little bit faster to try and get a bit more time on the bar. Moving into that second bar with the 185, speaking to the person who did it just then, that gave them a bit of a shock when they got onto that bar. So we're just giving you a little bit more time, so one clean every 6 to 7 seconds. So if we're getting through our toes to bar with about 505 in that round 2, so that should be your tiebreaker in around 505. And that's giving us sort of, at least 1.5 minutes to get your 13 cleans at 185. So one clean every 6 to 7 seconds. Means it's going to take sort of 1 minute 18 and 1 minute 31 to get it done. So I'd imagine you should be off that barbell around 640 to 650, which is still giving you a minute 10 buffer. Okay. Moving into round 3, allowing for a little bit of a 10-second transition. So you're going to be starting your toes to bar at about the 7-minute mark. Again, let's try and shoot for that 150. It was fairly conservative in the first 2. It's probably going to be a little bit closer to the mark. You're going to be moving a bit more in this one. Stay with the unbroken dubs, obviously, and we should be getting off that tiebreaker, I imagine, around 8:50 to 9 minutes. Okay, stay with me. So we've got 1 clean. We're moving in here. I think we've got 11 cleans at 225. Realistically, that's 1 clean every 15 seconds if we can try and get that done. If we can try and get that done, you've given yourself 3 minutes, 1 clean every 15 seconds. That's worst case scenario. You probably need to push maybe 1 clean every 13, 14, and that will get you under the tiebreaker into that next round, into round 4. So that'll be pulling in under 12 minutes. It's going to be touch and go. So you're going to need to be moving pretty quick. So be consistent with that, with your timing, yeah? Don't leave it so you're going to make up a couple just before the end. Try and get ahead. Coming into round 4, which I anticipate a lot of people will be getting into round 4. Toes to bar does probably a little bit slower. It could be hurting a little bit. Saw the guys just then. I've allowed for sort of like a 30-second slower set there. So by 220 with a 10-second transition. So by 14:30 on the clock, and then it's pretty much just hang on and hit the cleans. It's completely up to you guys. Look, this is just my take. Obviously, if you guys are going to be shooting just to get to the 225 bar, we probably need to readjust these numbers and just think if you're going to get there at 4 minutes and adjust these numbers so you allow yourself a little bit more time on the barbell. Okay, just a rough guide, keen to know how you go. So yeah, good luck and have fun.